Tonight on Denver 7 News at 6.
Sound like a freight train or a tornado.
Loss and life in the shadow of a burn scar.
I'm just in shock. I keep reliving what I saw.
The Denver DA's husband learns he's probably going to jail for arson.
Video shows the violent arrest that led to an officer's firing.
All the families and friends know he's in the hospital, he's in and out of the ICU, what happened.
Plus, a gift card provides a much-needed shot in the arm to Colorado's vaccine effort.
And one of our favorite restaurants prepares to reopen its dining room.
COVID definitely hasn't been easy for us, and we're still running, we're still climbing to be here to serve the community.
We'll see you there. Good evening. Glad you're with us tonight on Denver 7. I'm Shannon Ogden.
And I'm Jessica Porter. Even a hint of rain carries a sense of dread around the Cameron Peak burn scar. Cabins that stood for generations have been reduced to splinters. At least one person is dead. 3 others haven't been seen since Tuesday.
Denver 7's Russell Haythorne heard from one of the lucky ones this afternoon, and Russell joins us live from Larimer County. Russell?
Yeah, Shannon, the Forest Service telling us today that it was a 15-foot wall of water that came down Black Hollow Creek into the Pooter River here, that resulting in a mud and rock slide that swept away cars, swept away homes, and sadly resulted in a recovery effort that continues tonight for 3 people who are still missing. At the Black Hollow Bridge in the Pooter Canyon, utter devastation.
This is our family property that we've had for years. They homesteaded here, stagecoach stopped the whole bit, so.
Susan Bond-Philpott feels fortunate. Her family's vacation home.
Our house is still standing. It's right around the corner there. It's made it through the fire, and now it's made it through the flood.
Some of her neighbors, as you now know, weren't so lucky.
It's overwhelming. You can't even imagine what it used to look like. I mean, we both knew what it used to look. It was just a little dirt driveway, and now it's a huge rock pile.
The race to recover 3 bodies still missing continues, a heartbreaking process for Susan and all those who knew the family. So of that family of 4, 1 body recovered. Again, 3 people still missing. A little bit of good news tonight from the Larimer County Sheriff's Office. They do plan on reopening the river to rafting, fishing, and other recreational activities. They'll reopen it this evening from the town of Rustic, which is about 5 miles downstream of our location, all the way to the mouth of the canyon. We're live in Pooter Canyon tonight. Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
All right, Russell, thank you. Very sad story there. And there are not a lot of people who call that part of Larimer County home, but just about all who do have been affected by this flooding. Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez shares their stories.
In any mountain town, you'll find a sense of community and togetherness.
She called.
For these 2 men who have lived in the Pooter Canyon for decades, the moment the mudslides tore through their community, those bonds became even deeper.
I can't imagine losing them too.
The Larimer County Sheriff's Office says so far they've only found 1 body of an adult woman. There are still 3 people missing.
Homes that were there are no longer there. That's about the simplest way to put it. They're completely gone. The fellow that had this cabin here that I think is probably gone is the only one up here that had flood insurance that I know of. No value to him now.
Jerry Wilkerson, who has had a cabin in these mountains for 3 decades, says there are only 9 cabins in this area and 5 of them are gone. Wilkerson also worked alongside one of those missing.
The man was the president of our homeowners association. I'm the secretary treasurer of it.
Denver 7 reached out to a family member of the missing. No details are being released by the sheriff's office, and the family isn't ready to tell their story.
I'm at a loss. I don't know where to start. I'm on the verge of breaking down, but I'm being strong. I'm being, answering questions, helping the sheriffs identify. I'm just doing what needs to be done.
The sheriff's office has not provided any update on where they are in the search efforts.
Friends that come along and give me hugs, and that kind of gets me going, but
the longer it takes, the closer this small community becomes.
And look at it that stuff happens, and
Ivan Rodriguez,
we'll get through this.
Denver 7.
The damage is unbelievable up there. Well, Mother Nature cooled off a bit today, but more rain is likely to fall along the burn scars this weekend. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is tracking it. Mike?
Jessica, it's a busy radar tonight. We have a couple of different cells that are causing some real concern. I've also put in the areas of the burn scars. So here's Pooter Canyon under a flash flood watch until Friday at 9 p.m. East Troubleston is under a flash flood warning until 8 o'clock tonight. This is the Williams Fork burn scar. Storms over that. The warning right now just till 6:15. Wouldn't be surprised if they extend that farther to the southwest. Grizzly Creek burn scar under a warning until 6:30. That also may be extended with storms staying in the area. In Denver, we've had scattered thunderstorms develop. So far, no real worries out of them, but lightning and locally heavy rain could cause a little bit of street flooding around the metro area. And across the state, it's really half and half. Hot and dry on the plains, monsoon moisture coming in from the south, but there's also a cold front moving in from the north. That combination is going to squeeze more moisture out of the clouds over the weekend. So Friday through Sunday, we're looking at some pretty decent rainfall. Many areas seeing 3/4 to over an inch of rain, locally heavier and the stronger thunderstorm activity. Headlines heading into the weekend. Then locally heavy rain for the mountains, isolated metro storms, more storms the weekend. One positive, the air quality is improving. I'll have details on that and your full 7-day coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Mike. Larimer County has company. These photos were taken late this afternoon at the roundabout in Avon. Mudslides are also responsible for closing I-70 West nearby.
The Denver District Attorney's husband is likely going to jail for arson.
Neighbors say Christopher Linsmeyer has been setting fires with little consequence for years. That changed today with a guilty plea.
Denver7 Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kowaleski in the studio covering allegations against Linsmeyer for months, and you have some new details tonight.
Yeah, Shannon, Jessica, here's what we know right now. Neighbors say and public records show the husband of Denver's DA has a 4-year track record of setting fires. They say he is solely responsible for multiple dangerous fires on his mountain property. And each time he's avoided significant legal accountability. Until now. It may look like nothing more than words on a piece of paper.
See here, this fire's piled up.
But for this mountain community near Kremling, it's much, much more.
I think he knows very well what he's doing. He's an arsonist.
At the top, it reads, Christopher Linsmeyer pleads guilty to arson charges.
He's lit fires on repeated occasions that have endangered life and property, and he's shown no regard for the risk that he's putting that life and property at. So to me, and I think to a dictionary, that's an arsonist.
It's the culmination of a 10-month journey to justice for Linsmeyer's neighbors. When you found out he's married to the DA of Denver, what did that say to you?
We're puzzled at why something hasn't happened, why he hasn't been held accountable.
And then you see that his wife is the Denver DA, and in a powerful political position, it does bring questions.
Those comments were made earlier this year. Now, the husband of Denver's district attorney has accepted responsibility and now faces possible jail time, up to 90 days behind bars. In a statement following the guilty plea, District Attorney Matt Carzon said, there is zero room for irresponsible behavior with fire in Colorado.
I'm glad the charges were filed, but I won't be satisfied until he's actually convicted.
And our commitment to answering your questions included a call today to Linsmeyer's attorney. Anthony DiColo told us, quote, Mr. Linsmeyer takes full responsibility for his actions, and he added that was the motivation behind the guilty pleas. The husband of Denver's DA will be sentenced on October 14th. Jessica?
Tony, thank you. We've shown you photos of the arrest that led to an Idaho Springs police officer being fired and charged. Tonight, we have the body camera footage, and we have to warn you, it's even worse on tape. Officer Nicholas Hanning and his partner rap on 75-year-old Michael Clark's door without ever announcing themselves as police. Seconds later, this happens.
What do you want? What the? Put it down! Down! Put it down! Get on the ground, down! Back up. Get out here right now. Get out here.
Get on the ground!
No. They hit that wall so hard,
I thought they were gonna come through the wall. Put your gun on, put your gun on. Okay.
Clark had a novelty machete in his hand when he opened the door, but as you just saw, he clearly put it down before he was tasered. Clark's attorney, Sarah Shelkey, says the video changes the entire narrative presented by police and prosecutors thus far.
We had an affidavit released last week in this case that detailed what sounded like a pretty outrageous event, right? On paper, it sounded like an outrageous event.
The district attorney had until
When you see it on video, when you can actually view it, it's such a different, it changes things, you know? You can see that trying to describe these types of events in writing can never do justice to real injustice. Real injustice has to be seen.
The district attorney had until July 29th to release this footage. Shelkey was sick of waiting and sent it to the press today without the court's blessing. A judge will determine next month if she crossed the line in doing so. As for Clark, he had a stroke after the encounter and is now living in a 24/7 care center.
The Weld County Coroner's Office has identified the two women killed in a crash near Alt as Zoe Nasel and Alexis Moritz, both 25 years old. Nasel lived in Fort Collins, Moritz in Boulder. The two were driving along Highway 14 Wednesday morning when they crashed into a semi. State troopers have not said who was at fault. An investigation into the University Hill riot is winding down, and Boulder police say they have spent hundreds of hours watching videos of people partying and trashing cars. Pretty much no one wore a mask, which was bad for all of our overall health and safety, but good for the police identifying the worst offenders. So 10 arrests have been made since March. 3 warrants are outstanding, and we're told there are a number of reasons they haven't been booked yet.
Is there a Georgia Bulldog fan in your life on the wrong side of the law? Wheat Ridge Police would love an introduction. Officers sent us this video of a guy strolling up to a home off West 32nd and stealing a package from the porch. Call police if you know who he is.
Come for the cash, stay for the life-saving vaccine.
So I got you out of bed, huh?
Yes, sir. Plus, one of Denver's best restaurant returns to form.
We're still here, and I think it's just the supporters that we've had have really been able to make that possible for us.
A lot of storms, locally heavy rain in the mountains right now. There'll be more of it over the next couple of days.